African time is a word that has been used to describe Africa for lateness, inefficiency, and backwards. But today in 21st century, African time means different. If I get ready to meeting, one will say, I came at an African time and not Western time. That is not more. That is a misconception. African time is now. African time in the 21st century means something else. That African greatness is here. Alex Munene, hosting African Time Show. And today we are going to look at African blueprint for greatness. We have had a lot of negotiation, a lot of discussions, a lot of podcasts, a lot of information being thrown here and there about it's time for Africa. But how is it time for Africa? When is it time for Africa? And what do we need to do as Africa to make sure that we grab what is right? You see, we need to stop using solutions that are done at Silicon Valley and Shenzhen. We have to have solutions here. Africa is innovative. The youngest economy is here. The fastest growing economy is here in Africa. And the best resources are here in Africa. So that means, which is our time, it has always been our time, but we have to do so much. Or we have to change our mindset first. We have to change the way we do things. We have to change the way we view things. And we have to change the vision that we have. The vision is not to import. The vision is to make raw material into finished product here and export. We have to have a strategy. And African time is not Kenyan, Tanzanian time or Ugandan time. African time must be African time. Because one country that is progressing in Africa cannot change the whole of Africa. Africa has to be changed by the African continent agenda. The 55 countries today, because currently we are 55 countries, have to have an agenda to change and act as one. We have to, like we have always said, ignore the borderlines. Those are just lines. And make sure that we work as a continent. How come? It is very, very expensive to send a package from Mombasa to Lagos, but very cheap and efficient to send a package from Mombasa to London. It is not making any sense. We have to make sure that we act now. And there are a lot of issues that we need to work on as Africa. One is bureaucracy. We have to remove the handles that make inefficiency or that make things take so long before they happen. We have not to look as individuals. Our government, our president have to look things differently. That they are not doing this for themselves, but they are doing this for Africa to change. That there will be other generation in future coming. So we have to make sure that the bureaucracy is not part of our processes or of doing things. We have to make sure that corruption is free. And corruption has been a thing or a thorn that has always eaten Africa. Why? Because of the mindset that was planted in Africa. During the colonization, the issue or the agenda that was displayed is that it is personalization, that every man for himself. And that is an agenda that was pushed to Africa to make sure that you don't grow. So we were colonized by might before we were colonized physically. We have to know that we are here, or I'm here, or I exist because we exist and not the way other way around. So we have to know that we have enough for every one of us and leave corruption and make sure that we build policies that help structures and the government to work and also to benefit every person. We have to introduce tax regimes that are very, very reasonable, and we have to make sure that we give African space and allocate resources for them to trade before even we ask for a lot of taxes. Why would the World Bank tell us which taxes to impose? They do not have our solutions. They do not know how we do things. Why do we have to do this? But because we have to look for funding, we have to look for loans and all here and there, and make sure that by the end of the day we become puppets? Can we start changing the mindset and start changing our way of doing things? Our raw material. Africa contribute more than 30% of the raw materials in the world. It's so great a number for us not to utilize that. We have to start also empowering education, because education frees the mind. Education liberates the mind, and by liberating the mind, we become conscious of our achievement, and we become visionary, and we make sure that to do the things the right way. We have to behave like an old man who plants a tree at 80 years or 90 years and knows that when that tree grows big, he will not be there to enjoy it, but his generation will be there. We have to do things for our generation, not for us only, because Africa does not belong for only us, but those who will come after us. So we really have to ask ourselves, the policy maker, what types of policies are we making? What types of government are we learning? Governments have to partner with their own private sectors. Governments will have to be very flexible in the way of doing this. Government will have to listen to other governments and their citizens. So we have to wake up and liberate Africa. This is 21st century. Years ago, when we did not go through the era of landlines, we moved from boots to mobile solutions. We leapfrog. Africa has to leapfrog for it to get to where, or even better, or even ahead of other nations or continents. We have to leapfrog by innovations. We already have a lot of very strong mobile solutions. So we cannot leapfrog in one sector and not do the other. Private sector cannot leapfrog and leave the government away. The government has to do the same by providing policy, by creating good environment, and by making sure they create taxes that are friendly to their own local people. We give tax incentive to people that come to invest out of Africa. So it's a call for action that we have to make sure that this is a different era and things have to be done different. We cannot say it's African time when it's not really African time. We have to make it the time. Not the old African time, but the current African time of 21st century, where greatness has no excuse, where greatness has to happen. If you agree with me, you'll know that we have all the resources, we have all the capacity, we have all the manpower. As we have always earlier said, we are enjoying the biggest young population in the world. We have to empower this population. If we have these populations and they are not educated, they are not empowered, then you can be sure that we'll have a very big young population with a lot of chaos, crisis, fights all over. But if we empower them with education, if we empower them by having the right policies, if we empower them by supporting the innovations, if we empower them by partnering with the right institutions to help the youths, then we are going to make sure that we have built a future for Africa. South Africa, all the way to Morocco, all the way to Kenya, all the way to Nigeria, and everywhere. We have to know that African continent is a key agenda for us who are Africans. We cannot wait for the people from outside to come and make policies for us. We have to do that. We have to take action. And I'm looking at us unifying and making Africa great. Thank you so much for watching us. Click the button, like button, share, subscribe, and we see you next time.